Hello. Welcome to the latest episode of Live Drawing. And here we are with our giant record-breaking most ever on a page. For some reason, our screen is mirrored. There we go. There we go. I am no longer left-handed. But yeah, we're still working on this page, and as you can see why, you can see every little shrimp that we have drawn of prawn force. And we're going to try to get this thing done tonight. I don't know if we will. It'll be close. It'll be close. We'll get to work. We're on our new computer, actually, so we can check to make sure it's working. If anybody out there is watching, I'm going to take a look just to make sure it is coming through. Yep, we are live. Cool. I have been working extraordinarily hard on this. As you can see from all the, see if we can zoom in a little bit with our high tech. Not a new camera, but we are working on my new computer here tonight, so hopefully some of the little hiccups. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thank you for the kind words. We're gonna, because of my new computer and the setup, we're gonna try with the chat in the window just because it's a smaller screen, but it's a lot faster computer. I traded some of the size for some of the power. This thing has twice as much RAM. It's a Black Friday deal. I got it like 40% off of list price. A new HP ZBook is what I'm on. My Dell Inspiron was 9 years, was it 7, 8 years old, somewhere in there, and it's just it's not long for this world, and I wanted to replace it before it died so I could get everything copied over. This is one of those pages that'll live in my nightmares for a very long time. And part of the purpose of it is people are going to say, well, I can't really tell what's going on, is that I want some visual chaos that will be organized a little bit by the coloring. You can see the larger prawn, they'll be colored in the colors that they show up, the pinks, all the different colors. But the background prawn, like these little ones here, they'll be probably just in blue. So I spent a good amount of time working on this thing over the weekend, but I've just been bogged down with stuff. I've been getting these bad migraines lately, so it's been not a lot of fun. So weather sounds pretty terrible out there, so hope everybody's at home or wherever they can be out of the weather. Michael says he's just made a spread shop. I'm having trouble getting a design approved for spread shirt because they don't know who owns the image. Weird. I don't know. Maybe they have different approvals for the different departments. I don't know. But since you made it, there shouldn't be an issue. Unless maybe it looks like something else. I don't know. Is it an homage cover or something? I could see them flagging something like that because like they don't know if it's an homage or a copy or whatever, or is it a unique image? I don't know. If it's a unique image, I can't imagine why they would flag it. But all those automated checks that they do now, it's all run by like AI and stuff. Very rarely do people check these things anymore. So hopefully it gets flagged and goes up to a human being and they can look at it and clear you so you can get your shop going. I will be moving some of my stuff to like those print on demand type sites in the future. It's too much work to do all the fulfillment and everything, and I just don't have the time or the man hours to do anything. I've had my store closed all year this year because I just haven't had the ability to work on this and like fulfill random books during the week or whatever and do all my other work. I think it'll be one of those where I maybe open it for holidays once in a while and then I can ship everything out all at once, you know? Had breakfast for dinner, which is always nice. What have I been reading? Mostly old stuff. I've read some, I picked up some like $2 comics at a local antique mart. There's a stand there that sells $2 comics. I was reading an old issue of World's Finest that was drawn. Michael says it's an image of a guy drumming drums. I used a reference for how drummers drum, but I didn't copy it or trace it. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Hopefully they have some sort of protocol where you can just tell them it's yours. Hey, Desiree. Red Sox made a trade today, so hopefully their pitching staff is a little better next season. I think Bayo will have a bounce back year. I don't know if Hauk will have a good year, but I hope he does. This is being broadcast on my new computer, but it is the same crummy internet connection, so there might still be some. You folks will have to let me know if the vocals kick out or something still. Oh, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I had to do it just because of the size of my screen is much smaller. It's a much faster computer, but it is smaller than my old one. My old one had a big, it's like 17-inch screen, but like half the RAM and half the memory. I don't even know if it had half the memory. This thing's got 2 terabytes on it. But now you guys can see each other and you can see different people who pop in on different platforms. You can see the random spam bots when they show up, generally from Twitch. That's usually where the spam shows up. Occasionally YouTube, but usually it's on Twitch. Sorry for the late notice over on Facebook. For some reason, it just wasn't posting. I put a Instagram up on my lunch break, and I tell it to share it directly over, so it goes up at the same time. But checked it on my way home, and nobody had seen it because it did not get posted. I don't know if there were any issues with Facebook today or anything, but maybe it was just my silly account. don't know why the camera is bopping around so much. Let's see if that helps. The page after this, thankfully, there's only one panel with a bunch of krill in it, so it's I don't have to draw all of this stuff over and over again. I know to you guys, it probably doesn't really look all that different from as far as the size of the screen goes. For me, it's like, I don't know, 20-30% smaller. So just going to take some getting used to. But I'm going to be able to, with this computer, do all kinds of better video editing and things once I get Premiere loaded onto it, and be able to do shorts and time lapses and stuff again. So, like, you'll be able to, if you miss an episode, watch it in, 90 seconds or whatever. And I can probably start uploading those over to TikTok again. That was the only thing I was putting over there. Like, I don't make like dance videos or anything. I think I did a walkthrough at one show that people liked when I basically walked from the front to where my table was. But that was the only like at convention video I've done. This will definitely be the biggest swarm of anything I've ever drawn in my career. I've got a handful of medium-sized ones to do up here, and then the rest is just filling in all these little. It's almost like it almost turns into like a zipatone pattern, which I don't know if too many people would get the reference, but it's a film that they used to use on comics to shade them. You saw it on strips, you saw it on illustrations, you saw it on all sorts of things. It was just an old tool that's basically extinct now. That's one of my post Undersea Hero projects. Is I got all that big pile of zipatone, and it's to scan it so that people can use it for free as a digital resource. I'll make it a downloadable file from my website that people can just take. Because all the companies that made that stuff are out of business. The originals, Letratone and Zipatone, both companies, long, long time ago. And I don't think anybody owns the rights to the film patterns or anything. I did watch Creature Commandos. I watched the first two episodes. I was not wowed by the first episode, but the second episode I thought was terrific. I thought it was very good. So I will definitely check out the third episode. Hooray, I have relevant pop culture commentary to share. I saw it and I liked it. I don't know if anybody else has checked it out, but it's over on the HBOs. And I started watching the Chris Reeve documentary. I haven't watched the whole thing. I don't have a lot of time to watch TV, so I pretty much just watch a little bit while I'm eating breakfast before I go to work. Those 20-minute shows were perfect because that's like how much time I have. But anytime I start a movie, it takes me a long time to watch one. The Chris Reeve documentary, I won't there's no spoilers or anything, but it's a little heavy. It's not a light viewing. I would just put it in that context. It's good, very good so far, but yeah, it's not just about making the Superman movie, which I still love to this day, the Chris Reeves Superman movie, and Superman 2 and Superman 4 I actually like. I'm one of the few people, I still think 4 is better than 3. Um, and I have a soft spot for it. It's got Gene Hackman in it. It's got, what I'm really doing right now is, these are tiny little shrimp, and when they're reproduced, they're even going to be smaller. So, like, I don't have to spend the whole time, like, getting every little detail in there because you're not going to be able to see it. It's going to shrink down and it will disappear. Like I said, it'll basically turn into a dot pattern in the background. My hope is that next year I can afford to get the slightly faster internet. I have the cheapest, slowest internet that my provider offers, and the next step up is definitely an investment. But I know that, like, we were trying to watch. I watched the Bruins games from the Bruins app because it's cheaper than getting the more expensive cable that the Nesson is on for us, and you have to upload from your phone or your computer to the TV to watch it on the TV, and it is really, it lags. I think I could buy like a HDMI cable or something and do it that way, but again, it's just buying another thing and another thing. Anybody reading any good comics lately? Anything new that I should be picking up? I haven't been to the store in a little while, unfortunately. New comics expensive, man. I was reading She-Hulk for a little while. Those were good. It was like a romance between Jack of Hearts and Jen with a whole bunch of intrigue going on with her rejoining the Avengers. The Gail Simone X-Men, Desiree says, and the new Ultimates, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I've read some of the Gail Simone X-Men. I've got a couple issues sitting over there that I still need to read. Um, so I'm glad to hear that you like those. I look forward to reading them. The art's maybe not my style, but it's not a hindrance. So as long as the story is good, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I've read up to the introduction of those new characters in issue 1, and I think I read issue 2. I haven't read the Ultimates, and I haven't read Space Ghost over the Dynamite Space Ghost. So I'm looking forward to the Herculoids, the new Craig Russo series that's coming out from Dynamite. There's a really great looking Mike Mignola cover for one of them. I swear this page has like this was a brand new eraser. This page has been just melting this eraser. I think the last Space Ghost comic I read was when Alex Ross did those DC ones. They were good. I liked them. I thought they were good. And then, no, that's not true. I read the Future Quest comics. I read those. I think Ariel Olivetti did the Space Ghost one. That was good too. It was more like Green Lantern-y than Space Ghosty, I thought, but it was still good. Alex Toth and Doug Wilde doing that stuff at Hanna-Barbera. I'm sure even if I finish this tonight, I'll keep noodling at it tomorrow, just adding more and more and more of the visual chaos that is this giant swarm of krill. There was a character in the Mike Wieringo run of Sensational Spider-Man that showed up back in the Champions back in the 70s called The Swarm, and it was a whole bunch of like locusty bug bee things that grouped together to form a person. And I considered doing something like that in this, but I just opted not to because I didn't. I wanted the. There's a joke on not the next page, but the following page that kind of was the impetus for Krill Force becoming a thing. So Yeah, aside from Creature Commandos, other news in my car's in the shop, so I get to pay for a whole new exhaust. Basically, two mufflers, a pipe underneath, and then some other stuff that needs to be done for it to pass, state inspection for the year. More than just a tune-up, yeah. Probably like well over $1,500. Got a handful of people in tonight, so thanks for joining me while finishing this. This page has been a journey. Let's say that. I've got to go in and refill some of the blacks and stuff. The black ink areas, I got to put another layer in there. Just need a drink of water. We're just gonna keep working on this book till it's done. I actually, of course, like as it always is, when you don't need work, it is finding you. I had to turn down a fairly well-known IP, unfortunately, recently. I don't know. I felt I owed it to this project to see it through. So I'm sure people would have been excited to see me do the thing, but I this would have been pushed back again, and I just can't abide by that. A friend of mine sent me a message, an editor. It was like, "Hey, we need somebody." And it was another one of those where it was like, rush, rush, rush. That means I would have had to like put this down and start it right away, and it would have pushed this back, and didn't want to do that. Yeah, what do you think, Jay? You think that's enough little shrimp? You ready to do the flats on this page for me? You can fill in all those little circles. No, it's not going to be fully colored like that. It's going to just the main krill will be in color. The rest will be in a couple of different tones of blue, probably. What are you working on tonight, Jay? You working on a page, or are you taking it easy this evening? You're pretty much always drawing whenever. Generally, when I ask myself what Jay's doing when it comes to art night, I picture Jay with either a Hanna-Barbera cartoon or old episodes of The Simpsons, a beer, black metal playing while the show is on, and drawing while that's all happening. That's generally how I picture the Jay Kennedy working environment because I've seen it in action. I've been to his place and seen him with the music playing, TV on, comics on the table, beer, drawing. That's generally how I envision the Jay Kennedy uh, studio experience. This coming Monday, if anyone is in the Hyannis Cape Cod area, they're going to be commissioning the new boat. And I did a watercolor for it, and I did some other designs and stuff, and they're going to be giving them away at the terminal. Um, so if anybody's in the area, there's there's a hat. There's a free hat that I designed. There's a prints. There's buttons. There will be buttons and a big giant new boat that you can check out. So that's on Monday morning in Hyannis. For the commissioning ceremony. So I'll show a picture of the watercolor probably Friday. It's a painting of a boat. It's a type of art our high school teachers always dreamed we would do instead of drawing stupid superheroes on SAT uh, booklets. Mr. Nichols, you can't expect them to take you seriously if you draw Wolverine fighting the Hulk on your verbal. It was actually the math. I did very well on my verbal for SATs. Pretty much made up for like some of the classes I slacked off on in high school. But Jay, this is why I call this the world record page, because it is insane, and I would challenge anyone else to draw a page where you could tell that they are shrimp with more battle-clad shrimp on it. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. What's your commission you're working on? You drawing superheroes, horror stuff? I was actually thinking about what I would commission Jay to draw next. I think I would want a Jay Kennedy, like Superman and Crypto. I think that would be the Jay Kennedy next Jay Kennedy piece I would commission. Superman and Crypto. I think you would do a really good version of that. Man. I've been working on this page for so long. It's like I forgot that other pages even exist. Other drawings could exist. My buddy Joe St. Pierre, his new book is in previews. So he does amazing artwork. He did Spider-Man, Venom. He helped establish the original Valiant universe by creating secret weapons, working on Shadow Man, doing early design work for Bloodshot before it was called Bloodshot. He's done Deadpool, Wolverine, Aquaman, all kinds of mainstream stuff. And he did the Jacques Cousteau Undersea Kids books, or Fabian Cousteau, excuse me. How could I mess that up? You can only imagine how small these shrimp are going to be when they're on the printed page, because right now they're on an 11 by 17 piece of paper. They look gigantic compared to how they're going to look. Jay, I was comparing this page to The Swarm. I don't know if you remember The Swarm from Spider-Man, Sensational Spider-Man, when Ringo was drawing it. It's one of those random sea-level villains from the Bronze Age that is a lot of fun. Undersea Hero, where all the villains are sea level. Yuck, yuck. I could see the Statler and Waldorf saying sea level. You're far below it. Ha 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 ha. I was sharing some Peppy the Shrimp gifs today. It was just reminding me how much I could go for some new Muppet content out in the world. Some new show, movie, YouTube shorts. Need more Muppets out there in the universe. Some of these I'm going to have to reinforce the lines, and that way they stand out when it's fully inked. Man, wind and rain really blowing out there. I'm gonna actually have to drop in the words Krill Force on each of their little sashes. So it says Krill Force, just like Mayor Quimby says Mayor on his sash. The Krill have it says Krill Force on their sashes. It's classy. It's classy like that. Yeah, I hope we finish this thing tonight. I think we got a shot. Minus like going back in and doing some cleanup work probably, but like getting the main lines down, I think we'll be able to get there. I do need to draw one more krill right here, get that one there, and upside down one there, and then we've got the little ones there, and then it's just filling in the pattern. So darken that in a little bit. Got a little bit of shadow coming this way. That it's pretty much been work. We did get our Christmas tree. I did do some minor shopping. Gotten to that stage for like other adults. We buy like the Harry and David or like some chocolates or something and get edible stuff for people more than just getting like stuff. Try to do that. Some of the little faces crack me up, but I've been drawing this thing for so long that I'm just trying to execute and do a good job on it more than stopping and being delighted by a stupid face on a talking shrimp. Jay and I have talked about doing a podcast together this coming year, but we're still figuring out how we would do it. I have to go in and add some lines to this one closer to the camera so it's got some extra curb appeal or whatever as a realtor would say. And people will probably look at this and say, "Ah, it's indecipherable. I can't tell what's going on, what's up or down." And in this case, you'll be able to tell very easily once I put the color uh, delineations into this. It will not just scream noise at that point. The organization comes from like only the main figures will be in color, the rest will be monochromatic. So like they'll get pushed back. Oh, what time we got? It's 8:46. We're moving right along. Probably hear the wind howling outside the studio window here. I think we will do a guess how many krill are on this page contest at like every convention going forward. after the book comes out. Yeah, when I have the screen the way it's set right now, I can't see what time it is, so I have to look at my phone. So there's another device I got to have in the room. Around this upper corner. Oops, made a mistake there, of course. I have to fix that. Fix it in post, as they say. Just get a little bit of white out there, and we'll take care of that little glob. Oh, thanks very much, Michael. As you know, it's just lots of practice, and it's very kind of you to say. These are mostly just little background characters, so I'm just trying to have a lot of energy. I'm not trying to slow down my pen too much because I'll lose some of that bounce in the line. I'm sure you, in your inking skill, have noticed like the fast line, slow line difference and the type of energy you get. Some people can like go between they can pull that fast line energy into a slow line. I have not been able to do that in my career as of yet. My slow lines look slow and my fast lines have a bounce to them that the slow lines don't have. Just a different quality that I like, and I'll use it when I think it needs it. And like background characters that are supposed to be moving definitely need that. I gotta go in and flatten this out and flatten out some of these different spots. My brother got me for my birthday a nice gift card for Blick, so I'm hoping to get some nice fancy paper to do some watercolor on. Just looking for some arches or some uh, some different board, illustration board, instead of some, the regular just heavy Bristol board. I don't know. I'm looking for something I can really put some layered pigment onto. I've been thinking about doing a secret piece for Undersea Hero. Can't tell you what it's for yet, but it's something that I've been thinking about for some time. I've still got to do the handy dandy field guide that was one of the stretch rewards. I still have to draw that. But I think I've got pretty much everything else done. I think I've got all except for the little remarks done for the rewards. I've got all the watercolors are done. The sketch covered watercolors, those are all done. I might have a couple of ink drawings to do. But then when I get all the shipping boxes, I got to draw all those doodles. But those will be fun. We'll get to draw just fun stuff at that point, get to goof off instead of all this hard work we've been doing. All these tiny little dots. I'll definitely go back in and add more dots before I scan this thing. See, I keep finding little areas where I can add just a little more there, a little more here, stuff going off the page. Right by that helmet, definitely need a couple of little ones, little tiny ones. One of our regulars, Brian, his daughter, has volunteered to count all of the shrimp when this is done. So we will have an official count. We'll try to fill in, we'll try to just fully polish this thing off. I get my pencil, I gotta tighten up a couple of things on there. Always want just one upside down character. Anytime you have a group scene, you gotta have the one person that's upside down. Just cause. This one looks surprised, like, oh god, it's finally here. The battle's finally here. Been cooped up inside the correlator ship for so long. I had one of my favorite dinners tonight, breakfast for dinner. A couple of fried eggs, some potatoes, a little side salad. Breakfast sausage. Went with breakfast sausage this time. Michael says when he read that Faber-Castell pens were waterproof, I was elated. Now I can watercolor washes over them on smooth watercolor paper. Yeah. Got a new person from over YouTube. Dodges again. Brew, they say. Hello. Welcome aboard. I don't know what that means, so. If you didn't enjoy it, I hope you find something you do like. Drawing's that one thing that any day I can find a way to give myself a perceived level of purpose. For myself. Even if nobody was looking at my drawings, I would still draw. So that's just how I was wired. Like I'll draw on little. I love impermanent art. So like I don't know. I love the sand art. I like stuff that just disappears. It's one of the reasons like I consider doing. I want to actually find some markers or a medium that disappears, that's not like a gag as far as disappearing ink goes, but I would love to find a medium that lasts like exactly a year or something, or changes drastically. Like I used to do paintings with coffee, and those would change a great deal over a short amount of time. If you ever looked at like a coffee wash drawing or painting, which is a medium that I'm not the only person that uses them, the Too Much Coffee Man artist has used coffee to actually do their strip. I don't know, just how it evolves naturally over time. It ages. I like the idea of art that doesn't look the same every time, somebody sees it. I actually have some drawings I did in college that have started to fade like old drawings that I've collected over the years. So there is that, but I don't know. I'd like to do some research on that and find stuff that intentionally changes over time. I know that Bill Sienkiewicz uses some different chemicals on his paintings and stuff, and those will change over time. All right, man. We are getting close. We're getting close to finishing this, for at least for the night. Like I said, I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, we got a noodle on this thing. We got a noodle on that thing. In noodles, there's a lot of noodling that goes on. And I want to go in and sure up some lines and stuff like that. But you guys will be able to see, basically where we're at. And sometimes when I erase some of the pen, it comes off. So I have to go back in and fill it in or sure up some lines or something. This guy. get our one brush pen and we can go in and fill in some of these areas that need some shoring up. I really like this guy down here that we drew a couple streams ago, the machete prawn. I feel like he's going to have a story at some point. And this is just India ink. It's the Dr. Phil Martin's Black Star matte, which is my favorite type of ink. I just love the finish, love the matte finish. You know, I used to use Speedball, which had this really slick finish when you would double it down and fill in the areas. And at the time, I really liked it, but I grew to prefer the matte finish as I got older. Nice, simple matte finish. I'll go in here and I'll try to clean this up a little bit. I think we're only going to be able to clean it up so much because there's already so much ink on the page. Right where this is. When we scan it and we pull out the paper and we peel the line art off of the paper digitally before we send it for flats or whatever, it will even out all those inconsistencies if you want to get rid of those. You can even do what I used to do for sending it off to press. I would actually do a color overlay over my line art so it would be perfectly flat going to press. It was just a different aesthetic that I was going for, a different look. You had all these big sweepy lines that I would have just a pure flat black over. It was an interesting combination, especially when back then I inked with just a brush. Like I would never use pens. In this page, I would have died doing this page all in brush, like every little line. Or I would have used a different technique. Maybe I would have used a screen to represent the shrimp instead of all those little circles. Would have been a different approach, more likely than not. But we fill that in, bring some of the ink back up like that. And that flattens that out a good bit. This fella here needs a little bit more ink on him. There we go. Like I said, this is the type of noodling that I'll do when I'm off the stream. Like, oh, maybe a few more here. Oh, I can fit a couple more here. Makes me think of that episode of The Simpsons when Krusty the Clown is trying to quit smoking, and every commercial break he comes back with like more nicotine patches on him. And just before going to a break, he's like, "I think there's some room on my butt," referring to more room for more nicotine patches. All right, we're just over an hour, and I think we're pretty much done for the evening. So, unless anybody has anything else they want to contribute or ask, I think we're gonna just sure up some of these lines, and we'll call it a night. I wonder if I have any whiteout on me for that glove that I need to do. Did I bring my bag in? I did bring my bag. Half a brain, still kind of work. Of course, I can't find my whiteout. Such is the life. There we go. Hey. I only wasted a good chunk of your evening looking for that. There's a little bit right there. And then where's the little glob up here we had to do? Where was that mistake? Oh, right here. There we go. Thought about adding some speckles here, but I think we've really just kind of pushed it to the limit already. It really is. So let's zoom out. 1,000,000,000 to 1. That's about as far as we can zoom out. But yeah, you can see there's our page. And then that's obviously the correlator, and then these are the krill that are off to attack Undersea Hero. On our next page, we will see how that goes. See, I keep finding little bits that I want to add to, little bits of texture here and there. The page that will never be done. But thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. Always good to see you folks. Michael, Desiree, Dodge, everybody else that is lurking out there quietly. I hope you all have a lovely evening, a lovely weekend, and yeah, we will hopefully see everyone next week. So thanks everybody. Good night. Oops, that's the wrong button. Exit full screen.